Talk to yourself like this for 21 days, my friends. If you want to change your life, you've got to change the way you talk to you. We live in a world that's loud, loud with opinions, loud with judgment, loud with comparison, and sometimes, let's be honest, the loudest voice tearing us down is our own. But what if, for the next 21 days, you chose a different voice? What if every morning, before the world even had a chance to speak, you were the first one to rise and say to yourself, I am worthy, I am enough, I am becoming who I was always meant to be. You see, the words you whisper to your soul in the quiet moments, they matter more than the noise outside. Because if you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, strong enough, those words become chains. But if you start telling yourself, I am powerful, I am resilient, I've been through too much to quit now, then those words become wings. This is not about pretending everything is perfect. No, this is about speaking truth to yourself before fear gets a chance to lie to you. For 21 days, I want you to wake up and choose a new narrative, one filled with grace, one filled with fire, one that reminds you that you are not your mistakes, your past, your weight, your bank account, or your doubts. You are a living, breathing miracle, and if you keep talking to yourself like someone you love every day for 21 days, something incredible will happen. Your energy will shift, your confidence will rise. Your light will grow so bright that others will feel it just by standing near you. So say it with me now. I am here for a reason. I am not behind, I am right on time. And I don't shrink for anyone. I rise. Talk to yourself like this for 21 days. And watch your whole life begin to listen. Let me tell you something that took me years to understand. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you have with yourself. And we don't always realize how much power we're handing over day after day by the way we speak to that person in the mirror. We wake up, glance at our reflection, and before our feet even hit the floor, our minds begin whispering things. Sometimes those whispers are gentle and kind, you've got this. But more often, they're sharp, cutting, and cruel. You're behind, you're failing, you're not enough. And we don't question it, we just absorb it. We drink it like it's truth. But here's the truth. The words you say to yourself matter. They matter more than anyone else's voice in your life, more than your parents, more than your friends, more than the critics on the internet or the boss who never noticed your effort. Because those voices may come and go, but yours is constant. And that voice becomes the background music to your life. It either builds you up or it breaks you down. One thought at a time. We think it's just talk, just self-commentary, just what we've always done, but words are not just words. Words are builders, words are sculptors. They are the architects of belief. If you say something enough times, your mind doesn't question it. Your heart doesn't argue, it accepts it. It becomes who you think you are. So when you tell yourself every day, I'm so stupid, I always mess things up, I'll never change, your mind listens, and not only does it listen, it starts looking for ways to prove you right. That's the scary part. The brain is loyal, almost too loyal. If you feed it doubt, it will search for failure. If you feed it shame, it will keep replaying every mistake you've made. But here's the beautiful part. The reverse is also true. If you begin, even just a little, feeding it something better, something softer, something stronger, your mind will start looking for proof of that too. You say, I'm capable, I'm healing, I'm learning every day. And your mind says, okay, let's look for evidence of that. And slowly but surely, your life starts to rise to match the level of the words you're speaking. This is why it's not silly to talk to yourself in the mirror. This is why affirmations are more than a trend. It's not just positive thinking. It's deliberate programming. It's taking back the pen and rewriting the story before someone else writes it for you. I've met so many people who walk through life carrying the weight of words they never chose, labels they never asked for. Someone once said they were lazy. Someone once said they weren't beautiful. Someone once laughed when they shared a dream, and now, years later, that moment still lives inside them, playing like a broken record. And my question is, why are we so quick to believe the worst things and so slow to believe the good? We say things to ourselves we'd never say to a friend. Think about that. If someone you loved was having a hard day, would you lean in and say, "Well, this is probably your fault. You're always screwing up"? Of course not. You'd offer grace. You'd remind them of who they are. You'd speak hope. So why don't we do that for ourselves? That's why I'm asking you to try this for 21 days. Not because it's a magic number. Not because everything changes overnight. But because if you give it just 21 days, 3 weeks of talking to yourself with kindness, with belief, with unwavering compassion, you'll begin to feel different. You'll begin to see yourself not as someone to fix or punish, but as someone worth fighting for. Every morning, I want you to stand still for just a moment. Don't rush to the to-do list. Don't grab your phone. Look yourself in the eyes and say something true and kind, even if it feels awkward, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Say it anyway. Say, "I'm proud of how far I've come." Say, "I'm worthy of love even when I'm not perfect." Say, "I have something to offer this world that no one else does." Do it before the day tells you otherwise. Do it before the world forgets to remind you. Do it because your voice, your inner voice, should be your greatest ally, not your harshest critic. Because when you change the way you talk to yourself, you change the way you show up in your life. You walk different, you decide different, you dream bigger, you stop shrinking, and suddenly you become the kind of person you used to only imagine. And it all starts not with a breakthrough, not with a perfect plan, but with one quiet, courageous decision to speak to yourself like someone you love. Every day, the moment you open your eyes, something starts speaking to you. And if you're not careful, if you're not intentional, that voice will not be truth. It will be fear. It will be doubt. It will be every insecure version of you trying to take the microphone before your stronger self even gets out of bed. You know that voice, the one that says, "This isn't going to work out. Why bother?" The one that whispers, "You're behind. You should have more by now. Be more by now. Do more by now." That voice never waits for permission. It shows up like it owns the room, and for most of us, we hand it the mic. Not because we believe it, but because we're used to it. It's been with us so long, we mistake it for our own voice. But hear me when I say this. That voice is not truth. That voice is not your wisdom. That voice is not your potential. That voice is your fear. And it knows all your soft spots. It knows exactly where to poke. It remembers the mistakes you've made. It clings to the moments you failed. And it uses them to convince you that what's ahead isn't worth trying for. But you have another voice inside you, one that's quieter, softer, but stronger. It's the voice of your truth, and truth doesn't shout. Truth doesn't panic. Truth doesn't try to scare you into hiding. Truth comes with peace. It comes with clarity. It comes with calm confidence. The problem is, most people go through their day reacting to the loudest voice, not the most honest one. And when fear speaks first, it builds the script for your entire day. That's why I believe in the power of intention in the morning. Not because it's a cute morning routine, but because it's survival. Before the emails, before the traffic, before the social media scroll starts telling you what you're missing, you have to be the one to speak first. You have to meet yourself in the silence and choose to lead with truth. And I mean real truth, not some forced positivity that ignores reality, but grounded, empowering truth. Like, I don't have to have it all figured out today to take one strong step. Or yesterday may have been hard, but today is a new opportunity. Or maybe just I am still here, and that matters. Because when you speak truth early, you give it a chance to anchor you. It becomes your center. So when fear tries to pull you into the past, or into comparison, or into overthinking, you have something to come back to. It's like building a muscle. The first few times you do it, it might feel strange. You might even laugh at yourself in the mirror, unsure if any of it matters. But I promise you, keep doing it. Keep speaking before fear does. Because fear doesn't stop, but with time it gets quieter, and the more often you speak your truth, the more your life starts to follow your words. Think about how many opportunities fear has talked you out of. How many moments you've waited on something to feel safe or perfect before moving, only to let the moment pass. And I get it, fear sounds convincing. It sounds logical. What if it goes wrong? It asks. What if you're not ready? And the most dangerous thing is, it often sounds like it's protecting you, but what it's really doing is paralyzing you. Truth, on the other hand, doesn't paralyze. Truth pushes you gently forward. Truth says, even if you fall, you'll rise. Even if you're scared, you're capable. Even if it's hard, it's still worth doing. And let me be clear, fear never fully goes away. Even the strongest people I know still hear it. The difference is, they don't let it drive the car. They hear it, acknowledge it, and then make their decision based on truth. That's what I want for you. I want you to start catching that moment, right when you wake up, when your mind starts speaking. And instead of letting fear walk in like it owns the place, I want you to beat it to the door. I want you to rise before it does and say, no, I will tell myself who I am today. Say it out loud if you have to. Whisper it if you must, but say it with intention. I am grounded. I am learning. I am growing. I am worthy. I am safe in myself. Not because you need to be perfect, but because you need to be present. You see, when you don't speak your truth, your silence becomes permission for fear to fill in the blanks. But when you speak it consistently, deliberately, you begin to create a new rhythm for your life. One where fear still shows up, but it no longer gets the final word. You do. There's something powerful about the number 21, not because it's magical, not because something instantly changes on day 22, but because it's enough time to witness the beginning of transformation. It's enough time to prove to yourself that a new way of being is possible, and that's what this is really about. Proving to yourself that you don't have to live on autopilot, that you don't have to keep repeating the same stories, the same habits, the same thoughts that have kept you stuck for years. We've all been there. You wake up, and before your feet hit the floor, your mind's already playing reruns. The same worries, the same insecurities, the same mental script, word for word. And it doesn't matter how much you want to change if you don't interrupt the pattern. Wanting isn't enough, wishing isn't enough. Change begins the moment you decide to do something different, consistently, and that's where these 21 days come in. Because for 3 weeks you are choosing a new way to speak, a new way to think, a new way to be. You're not waiting for life to shift before you do. You're shifting so that life has to respond. Every day you talk to yourself with kindness. Something happens beneath the surface. Something starts to open up in you. And it's quiet, subtle. It's not fireworks. It's not lightning bolts, but it's real. One morning you'll realize you're not speaking to yourself with the same harshness. You'll catch yourself before the old voice of doubt finishes its sentence. You'll start walking into rooms without apologizing for your presence, and all of that's not an accident. That's the result of showing up for yourself on purpose, day after day, because repetition creates belief. You may not believe it the first time you say, I am worthy. You may laugh when you first look in the mirror and say, I am powerful, I am capable, I love who I'm becoming. It might feel fake, it might feel silly. But say it again, say it the next day, say it when you don't believe it, say it when you do, just keep saying it, because eventually your brain stops resisting. Eventually, your nervous system stops bracing for rejection. Eventually, the words you once said as practice become words you say as truth. And when that happens, you don't just feel better, you become different. You begin to show up as someone who knows their worth. Someone who can say no without guilt. Someone who can pursue a dream without needing every step planned out. Someone who no longer feels the need to shrink, hide, or apologize for taking up space. All of that begins with the words you speak to yourself every single day. Now, I know life doesn't slow down to let you do this. I know some days you'll be tired. Some mornings you'll be running late. Some evenings you'll forget. That's okay. This isn't about perfection. This is about practice. And if you keep practicing imperfectly, consistently, you'll start to notice the shift. You'll notice the way you talk to yourself when something goes wrong. Instead of spiraling into what's wrong with me, you'll pause and say, that was hard, but I'm still growing. Instead of, I can't handle this, you'll say, I've been through worse, I've got this. These small moments of self-talk, they are not small at all. They are the rewiring, they are the breakthrough, not the loud, dramatic kind, but the deep, lasting kind. Because change doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it feels like peace. Sometimes it feels like less self-hate. Sometimes it feels like walking past a mirror and not criticizing what you see. Sometimes it's just catching yourself halfway through a negative spiral and saying, no, not today. I'm not speaking to myself like that anymore. And that moment right there, that's growth. That's the work. That's the you that's been waiting to emerge, and you didn't get there by accident. You got there because you committed. You stayed with it. You said to yourself, this time, I'm not going to quit on me. So yes, 21 days can rewire your mindset. Not because of some miracle, but because of your willingness to keep showing up, to choose different thoughts, to speak better words, to shift your internal world so your external world begins to respond. And that's the kind of change that lasts, because when your mindset changes, your choices change. And when your choices change, your life can't help but change with it. There is a powerful truth that many of us struggle to fully internalize, especially when things aren't going the way we want. And that truth is this: you are not defined by your circumstances. I know this because I've seen it time and time again in my own life and in the lives of countless others who refuse to let their situation become their identity. Your circumstances might shape you, but they do not define you. Too often, we make the mistake of equating who we are with where we are in life. We allow our failures, our setbacks, and the disappointments to speak louder than our potential. We look at the messy, imperfect version of our life and think, this is who I am the sum of my mistakes. I am the product of my past. But that is not the truth. That is only one chapter of your story, and it doesn't have to be the final one. Think about this. You are constantly evolving. You are always becoming more than you were yesterday. You are not stuck in the past unless you choose to be. And the way you speak to yourself, those words that run through your mind every day, are the ones that determine who you'll become. If you see yourself as someone limited by their circumstances, that's how you'll show up in the world. But if you start seeing yourself as someone capable of transformation, someone who can rise above their current situation, you will begin to move forward. And that's the key. You have to choose to believe that you are more than where you are right now. Take a moment and look back at all the things you've overcome in your life. The difficult decisions, the heartaches, the times you thought you wouldn't make it through. And yet, here you are. You're still standing, you're still moving, and you're still learning. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's resilience. That's your inner power, and it doesn't need permission to exist. It's always been there. I think a lot of us hold on tightly to the labels we've been given. Labels from other people. Labels from our own mind. I'm not good enough. I'm too old, too young, too broken. But what if those labels aren't yours to wear? What if you've been carrying someone else's opinion of you this whole time? What if the only thing that's been standing in your way is the belief that you're defined by your circumstances? When we choose to see ourselves as defined by our circumstances, we create a self-fulfilling prophecy. We live as if our current situation is the limit of our lives, but it's not. It's just where we are right now. It doesn't have to dictate where we go. It doesn't have to determine who we become. Every day, we have the opportunity to rewrite that story, to step into the next version of ourselves. Think about the greatest moments of growth you've had. Were they always easy? Probably not. They likely came at times when you had to face adversity head on, when you had to make a choice to push past the fear, the doubt, and the obstacles in front of you. And those moments where you chose to rise, are the moments that define who you really are. But you can't step into that growth if you're holding onto a past version of yourself that no longer serves you. If you keep telling yourself, I'm just not good enough, or I'll never get this right, or I've failed too many times, that's exactly what you'll get more of. Not because it's some cosmic law, but because you're letting those thoughts dictate your actions. When you believe you are more than your circumstances, you begin to step into your power and take action that aligns with who you are becoming. It's about shifting your perspective. Instead of asking, why am I stuck? Why am I failing? Ask yourself, what is this moment teaching me? What can I learn from this experience? When you change the way you view challenges, they stop being obstacles and start becoming stepping stones to something greater. And that's where true growth happens. When you stop defining yourself by the setbacks, the roadblocks, and the hard times, and start defining yourself by the strength, the lessons, and the courage you've gained. Let me tell you this, you are a masterpiece in progress. You are not a finished product. The challenges you've faced, the struggles you've endured, they don't diminish your worth. They sharpen you, they prepare you for something greater. But if you keep tying your self-worth to the struggles, to the failures, to the moments where you've felt less than, you'll miss the opportunity to step into the beauty that's waiting for you. It's time to let go of the idea that your circumstances define who you are. The setbacks you've experienced, the mistakes you've made, they are not the sum of your existence. You are more than what you've been through. You are more than the labels, more than the fears, more than the doubts. You are a living, breathing work of art, still in progress, still evolving. So I want you to remember this every time life gets hard, every time you feel like giving up. You are not defined by where you are right now. You are defined by who you are choosing to become. Your future is not determined by the circumstances of your past. It's determined by the way you decide to show up today. And no matter where you are, you have the power to create a different future. One that reflects your true potential. One that reflects the limitless, beautiful person you are.